Before we start, if everybody could put their phones on either silent or vibrate, please. Okay, this is the regular meeting of the Design and Historic Review Commission. It is Thursday, May 16th at 11 o'clock, and we do have a quorum. Our first order of business is the consent agenda, but we will table it at this time. And do we need a vote on that to table it? Teresa?
What's the reason you're tabling it?
Based
on staff recommendation?
Yeah.
Are we just pulling items off of the, you were pulling that item off, so just pull it off, that way you don't have to remember to untable, just remove
Okay,
it from
so
the
we'll
agenda.
pull that off the agenda. Okay, we will go to our regular agenda. Our first case is CA 23-24 Amendment 214 South Chadbourne Street, a request to amend an existing certificate of appropriateness to allow new painted lettering on the side of the building.
Good morning, Austin Reed, planner. So this request comes to you out of District 3, Harry Thomas's district, downtown neighborhood. We are in CBD zoning and a historic overlay. There's kind of a rendering of what we're doing. This building was built in 1905. It's currently occupied by Plateau Brewery. They're just painting letterings on the side. That's the south side of the building. Some details about the lettering. It will be painted onto the brick. Each letter is about 54 inches tall, and it is painted in a Sherwin-Williams Paperwhite. There's kind of what that Paperwhite looks like. So we are recommending denial just to preserve the original brick facade. It is categorized as being a medium priority under the Historic Resources Survey, and our ordinance and the Secretary of Interior says every reasonable effort shall be made to adapt the property in a manner which requires minimal alteration to the building. So if you have any questions.
Yeah, I think it's the policy of the board that we don't paint over existing architectural brick, historical brick. So I think that's the reason for the denial.
Can you go back to the picture?
Yeah. So you'd see that if you were heading north of Chadbourne.
Are the lettering and everything, is that in cohesion with the sign ordinance being that big? Is that, I mean, because we don't approve all that, we just approve what's going on, but that,
From one,
there's a certain amount of square footage they can cover with it.
Right.
So all that is,
it would of course require a sign permit. From when I reached out to building permits, they told me that they would just calculate the size of each letter and add them together instead of pretty much counting that all as one sign across the way.
okay. Anybody have any more questions for staff?
I mean, that was never really considered to be the, I mean, because it was infill, so there's very likely something to the south of that, so that was never really considered to be the facade. And so I don't know that it violates any sort of historical norms because it was the way that was originally built, it was never intended to be seen. So I don't know that it's what it's in violation of as far as
Well, I think the main thing that we got to be careful with, because if we allow that to be painted, then somebody else could come in and go, look, I want to paint the side of my building. And our policy is that any brick that's not painted, if that brick was painted right now, then it wouldn't be a problem. They could do whatever they want. But since it's not painted, that's where it's kind of a gray area right there. I see what you're saying, but if we allow that, then we're opening up a precedent saying, well, you allowed them to paint their brick, why can't we?
Right.
So we got to be real careful with that. Any other questions?
An observation, not a question. I thought it was sort of interesting how the word fit exactly into those sections. And if, I mean, if I could make a recommendation, I would say if they could do this with a freestanding letter hung from the roof, I can see that happening. But visually, that is not a very pleasant looking wall, and somehow it sort of looks better with this sign than without
Okay,
it.
well, we can discuss that when we bring it on the boards. So we'll open it up to public comment. Is anyone here who'd like to speak for or against this project? Okay, nope. Okay, we'll close public comment and open it up to the board. So Yeah, your comment, I agree with
sorry,
you.
that
That
should have gone
would
here.
be my recommendation too, is to either do some kind of lettering where it's offset off the building. That way, if they wanted to take it down ever, you could.
Mm-hmm.
But to paint it on, I think we're gonna open up a can of worms if we allow that to go. I mean, I understand what you're saying too. I see but, you know, we've got, that's just not our policy to paint over existing brick, like that. So, and I've kind of visited with the clients, and I think they were fine with having some kind of standoff lettering or something like that with it. So, I mean, if somebody would like to make a motion,
I move that we deny as presented.
okay, and have it where the lettering is offset of the building or attached.
And, yeah, with the suggestion that it be.
Okay, but not painted.
Not permanently attached, but attached in a significant way to hold it.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, we'll move on to our next item. CA 24-05, 230 North Chadbourn Avenue, request for a certificate of appropriateness to remove painted cement board fascia over existing brick and exposed brick, update existing awning, replace commercial front windows with like and kind, add 4 foot by 8 foot mural, and add a metal steer skull over awning at 230 North Chadbourn Avenue in the historic overlay zone. You're on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This structure is on the southeast corner of 3rd and North Chadbourn. I'm sure that all of you have recognized where the building is. When I went to take pictures and take a look at the building, I have to give them credit. Whoever did the painting on the cement board actually did a really good job of lining it up. But it is pulling away from the building, and the owner wants to remove that and restore the brick underneath, where she can do that or replace the brick. She's also looking to either replace or refurbish the awning on this that's over. She wants to keep that same look and that same awning. She's wanting to replace the glass in the windows and in the door. And then, as the chairman indicated, this is a short-term rental or a medium-term rental. It has been for a long time. And she's looking to put the metal steer's head over the awning. It goes with the theme of the building itself and has for a number of years that she's been using that way. She's also wanting to have painted the cowgirl and the horse on that white board. And if you've looked at this building, you know that right now the board extends all the way down, so they would remove that and just keep the white 4x8 as the background for the art that's going to be painted there. They would like to remove the paint off the brick if they can do that without losing the brick. If not, they will have to repaint the half brick on the building. And this is just to give you an idea of what they're looking to remove and how it's coming away from the building. And that is the existing 3-color board. The bottom part will be removed and the top 4x8 kept. And then the paint either removed or will have to be painted over, depending on what the condition of the bricks are underneath. Staff's recommendation is that the approval for the items that she has indicated that she wants to replace or refurbish, the removal of the front facade, repair or replacement of the underlying brick, repair or replacement and repainting of the awning that's on the front of the building, replacing the windows and the door glass with the approved tinted security glass that meets our requirements, repair or repainting of the Third Street brick wall and removal of the facade painted column except for the mural. And then she would like to add the 4-by-2 foot steel stairhead over the awning to continue the western theme. So staff is recommending approval with 3 conditions. The first being that an encroachment agreement is obtained for any features that fall within the public right-of-way, and that would include the awning, or signage, or planters if she decides to use that. The second one, the colors and dimensions and materials of the improvements shall be consistent with what the board approves, and if there's any minor change, the Planning and Development Services can make that approval as kind of a like for like. If it's anything major, it will have to come back to you. And that the applicant shall obtain any required permits from the Building Permits and Inspection Division. And with that, are there any questions from the board?
Can you go back to the painting, yeah, that right there? Okay, so they're thinking about taking that paint off the bottom. I guess we can ask the applicant.
I would, the applicant is here, and I would talk with her about that. She has some real reservations on what kind of effect that's going to have on the brick underneath, so, yeah.
Okay, so I guess the mural will be painted on that,
On the white
on
part.
the whiteboard.
At the
so that'll
top.
stay.
And then what happens to the bottom of that, the blue?
I think that will be removed.
Removed?
They're gonna take
And
that
so it's just empty space?
It'll just be part of the
Nothing there.
brick. Hopefully
Part of the
there's
brick. There is
behind
brick
there.
underneath.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
brick underneath it.
right.
Okay, okay. Gotcha.
Any other questions for staff?
Could I see the picture of the facade again, that front?
See, let's make it-
Okay.
Okay, is that going to be a transom window, or what happens above that awning and behind the stairhead?
We'll let you speak in a moment. I want to open it up to public comment. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, again, I think that's something that you can ask the applicant. I think that that decision, at least when I talked to her, had not firmly been made yet.
Is there any other questions for staff? Okay, thank you. We will now open it up for public comment. If you'll state your name, please.
Sally Martine.
Okay. So what is going to happen up above the stairhead?
The best I can tell, I can't find a historical picture of that building, so I don't know what the original front looked like, and now it's covered with the cement board, so you can't tell what it was
Usually on
originally.
those old buildings, they had glass transoms up there.
I went in, from the inside, you can look above, because it's, the original ceiling height.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like it's painted all gray on the inside, but it looks like that they filled that, where the window's in, with cement block, is my best
So
guess.
what is your plan on it? You going to
To
plaster that?
paint
or
it
what is-
to plaster it and paint it a coordinating color with the original brick color that's on the side, which is my best guess of what
Because
it
you
looks
don't
like.
want to put the transom windows back in it? Because that's
I
what
don't,
was-
it's a west-facing wall, and it's already the sun coming in that really affects the temperature and the
Mm-hmm.
heating cost, cooling cost.
So then it looks like it's going to have a painted border around it, so it'll just be plastered with a painted border, it looks like.
That's my best guess, that border is actually brick, like on the side, because you can see on the side picture, I don't know how to do that, but on the side, it's a gold brick, and see the framing at the top? My best guess is that maybe they framed the transom windows with that darker brick. But I don't know.
Do we have a picture of the existing front?
Mm-hmm.
Can I see that? No, that's the, yeah,
There it is, yeah.
Okay, so right there, it looks like it's bricked in. They took the transom, that's what it looks like right now with that little blue.
That is cement board painted to look like brick, probably in the 80s when all the
Oh, in the
business went to the
top.
mall.
Oh, oh,
The whole front is cement board painted to look like brick.
oh, even up top they did it
Yeah,
that
and
way?
it's coming detached from the wall. They just put like a 1x4s and attached the cement board to the over the original brick to the wall and painted it to look like brick.
Okay, so
And
you
it's
will be able to
becoming
take it off,
detached.
because I've done a lot of those buildings down there. And so
Your
if they
guess
put it
might be
on with
better
one
than
before,
mine.
it'll make it a lot simpler.
To do what?
I said, if it's on there with one before, it's just gonna be simpler, because we ran into that same problem on the block down from you. I did 9 buildings there like that.
In that picture.
Yeah, so you want to take it back to the original, which is
Exactly.
good, I like that.
Yeah, the brick is pretty. I mean, I assume they put that over because of the patching. I think they patched where the
And
transom
so the
was.
paint on the other side, you gonna sandblast it, or?
Yeah, we'll try that, but I think that red paint was what the city did to cover up graffiti. I don't think that was
Yeah.
painted that way by the building owner.
Well,
But it was
yeah.
that way when I bought it.
Because we kind of have a issue with sandblasting and all that, because it'll eat through the brick a lot of times, and you'll
I
have
can
more
ask my,
trouble than you.
yeah, I can ask the
But
contractor if there's a
they do make
better
different
way.
ways you can do that where it doesn't do it. You can do it with walnut shells and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, glass beads. But if you sandblast it, it usually takes the finish off the brick. So I guess a lot of that, we're just gonna have to
Yeah, it's a.
see what happens once it,
Sort of get close to the original brick, but I want to match it as close to the original
you know.
as I am able to. And then.
So if it doesn't come off and it doesn't look, you're just gonna paint the brick, correct?
Yeah, but not the red.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to match the color of the original
And
building.
so, can we see the bring me back the original on the side, Okay, but that's showing it
Yeah,
cleaned up.
the
No, that's
original
not-
one with
That's
the
not the
red.
original. Where's the one with the blue?
There it is. Mm-hmm.
That, okay, so the upper brick, so it never was a red common brick or anything.
It never was what?
That's odd that they had that colored brick on the top. Is that a faux brick too? Or is that,
But that's
It's
the
already
original
painted. They must
brick
have painted that.
above. It's not painted. Those are the original.
painted?
Those are the original colors of the brick, which I tried to match with the palette. And I believe the city painted the red because there was graffiti there at one time.
So you would paint the whole wall. You'd have to paint all of the brick if you were going to paint it to make it all consistent.
Not just paint the bottom.
I would think.
We're going to
Yeah.
try to remove it, but and go back to the original brick, but I'm open to recommendations for how we can make it most appealing.
the only things I can see here is we really don't have a definitive look of what we're gonna go, because till she figures out what's gonna happen, so how are we gonna vote on something like this? Because she might paint, she may not paint.
I think that she's given you what her, oh, excuse me.
You know,
I think she's given you what her intent is. If she can take it back to the original, she's going to do that.
Okay.
If she can't, she's going to find a color that allows it to blend as best she can. She doesn't want that red there
okay,
either.
so are these the colors, I guess, that?
That's as closely as I could match.
Yeah.
Just from
Okay.
looking at
Okay.
the picture.
So you wanna kinda match the brown, I mean, the
The
brick
brown,
that's
the
there,
tan,
but
and
you're
the
not
kind
gonna
of
paint the upper
goldish.
brick. If you have to paint it, you're just gonna paint it where they painted the red, correct?
I'll do whatever you want me to.
Yeah.
I'm open to bringing it
I
as
think-
close back to original as possible is my intention.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
discuss that. Does anybody else have any questions for the applicant? No? Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else has any comment? Nope. Okay, we'll close public comment, open it up to the board. Do you have a preference if she has to paint it? Would you want her to paint all of it, or just paint half of it, or?
I would just paint half of it
think-
and match it.
Yeah, you don't know if that's really gonna match, is what I'm saying? You almost have to paint it all, is kind of what I'm thinking. But again, it's going to be one of those, you don't really know until you're there.
It's weathered and older brick.
Well, the
and,
same way with
you
the
know,
front, when you start pulling all that 1x4, you're gonna have holes, and you don't know what that brick's gonna do.
What's
I
behind
guess
there.
if they could patch it up, make it look good, then
Yeah.
shouldn't be an issue. You just don't know what's behind that. You don't know if that brick has been painted or not painted, or, so I guess we could just put in there, if the brick is not salvageable, then we'll allow her to paint all the brick.
Right, and we'll work with the applicant to make sure that it is.
Yeah. Okay, do we have any say-so of the head, the steer head, or any of that? Is that in our realm of, nope? Okay, Teresa's saying nope, okay, okay, just asking.
It's an art
Yeah.
piece.
I would think, with regards to this facade, I think just painting the part, if you can't get the red paint off, in 5 years, there may be a chemical or technology that's developed that is more appropriate that helps get this paint off. So I'd hate to make her paint the entire thing, paint the entire facade, and then in a handful of years, something is developed, some new technology comes along that is able to remove that paint, and so I would.
Well, but we can't really do that, because that's like, if this happens, that happens, so.
Well, right,
we really
but I'm
can't.
saying though, I think if you just paint half.
Because there is technology now that can get that off without destroying that brick.
Right.
Like I said, with the walnuts or the glass beads, there's different processes instead of sand, that you can do. It just depends on how that I don't know if that's a solid brick there, I don't know what that is. Maybe
Again,
back,
I think we know what her intent is. I think
Mm-hmm.
we've got that. She would like to have it the same brick that it was originally, and whatever she ends up doing, it's going to be better than the red paint that is there
no,
now.
I agree. Okay, somebody want to make a motion?
So I'm just wondering about the skull or the steer. We don't have anything, that's a
we don't.
sign, isn't it a sign, or?
You can regulate the size of it or the location of it, but you can't regulate basically what it looks like, because it is art and it's considered to be, speech.
Okay. Any other comments?
Well, I applaud the effort to bring this up. I think it's a good corner structure, and it deserves some TLC, which it looks like it will have.
Yeah, I agree. It'll just make the downtown look so much better. Can I get a motion?
Move to approve, staff's
What?
recommendation.
Okay.
Second.
Can I get a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, we will move on to our next case, which is CA 24-07, 226 North Chaburn Street, a request for a certificate of appropriateness for a front facade renovation, including new glass on windows and doors, new framing, new lighting, new signage, planters, and new awning framing.
Thank you, Austin Reed Planner. So this is just a couple doors down from the last one. We are again in District 3, Harry Thomas's district, downtown neighborhood, CBD zoning, and it is within the historic overlay. So there's a picture of what the front facade looks like right now. And then here is a photo of what it looked like in 1976. You can see that the brick has been painted over since then, and there might be another few alterations. The awning now is gone. So here's sort of a summary of what they intend to do. They'd like to repaint the front exterior in a Sherwin-Williams Rockwood shutter green, and I'll show that in here in just a second. They'd like to install black tinted windows and doors, remove metal facing that is under the awning and replace it with the same glass as the windows and doors, frame above the windows in rough red cedar 2x12s, upgrade the existing awning framing to a metal black standing seam awning, install 3 black iron wall mount lamps and 3 black iron sconces for exterior lighting, black metal storefront sign under the awning, and put 2 terracotta planters in. And here's sort of a diagram that they gave us. It might be kind of hard to see. This is slightly outdated. I am. But they've updated the paint color on there to the new green that they are using. This is a photo of the new green that they are using. That is on the sheets that I just passed out. It's the Sherwin-Williams Rookwood Shutter Green.
And what's that going on?
The brick that's already been painted
Oh.
over. So just, yeah, the entire front facade, really.
Oh, okay.
So we are recommending approval with 3 conditions: that they receive an encroachment agreement for anything that's within the public right-of-way, that the colors, dimensions, and materials of all improvements are consistent with whatever is approved by you, and that the applicant shall obtain any required building permits. So if you have any questions?
Yeah, go back to the front facade again. That. So they're gonna reuse the original awning and just put standing seam on it?
Yes.
Roof.
And I believe the applicant is here if you have any questions I'm not able to answer.
The 2x12 cedars, where are those going?
Looks like above the
So-
headers on them.
They kind of showed, I think, that as an example.
So it'd be up above that window header right there, right there.
And that will occur under the awning?
Yes, from my understanding.
Go back to the original deal and see it one more time. So it used to have a brick wainscot underneath. It looks like used to be windows up there above that, see that? Looks like it had transoms up there. Go back to the new, yeah,
But see, that looks like
Weird.
that, the awning, that's a different awning
yeah,
than,
yeah, what was on there, but there was something up above that. Looks like they bricked, see right there?
maybe it was just painted, maybe that was a sign,
It could be,
hard to tell.
okay. Okay, any other questions for staff?
What's the purpose of the building?
What's it going to be used for? And
We can ask the
what's
applicant.
the
Yeah.
sign, name of the sign?
Yeah, that'd be a question for the applicant.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now open it up to public comment. Does anybody here like to speak for or against this project? Please state your name for the record.
Brianna Rodriguez.
Adam Rodriguez.
Okay.
Okay, so underneath that awning, that is covered up with, what is it, wood or?
Like covered metal,
Yep.
surface metal.
Can you go back to the,
Yeah, go back to the,
to what's,
where the awning is.
so you can kind of see what y'all are.
Just like were y'all talking about like on the old picture, like you said, that looks like something, that part is,
What did you want me to go back to?
The picture of what's the existing, what's there now?
Yeah, that, yeah.
so underneath
that.
there, it's like beaded,
Oh, that's
like,
like a, that's like
It's
a.
it's that
panel.
corrugated
Yeah.
metal.
Look, David, if you look back here, you can see it, you can barely see that, that's like a,
And those columns there, where it reads,
Well, that's what we were seeing then.
yeah.
So I bet there was windows in there at one time. So what are you gonna do with that? You're gonna take that metal down
yes.
and do what with it? So are there transoms behind it? Can you tell from the inside of the building?
It's some kind of framework behind their structure.
Yeah, because a lot of times what they did, they
and-
got so hot with those windows, they framed it in from
I
the
guess
inside.
is what they did, yes.
yeah.
So you don't want to put the windows back
Right.
in it? You don't
And
want-
and the 226 number, the two sides are also metal, like a metal shell they just stuck on there, you know?
And right
Because
above
it was
the,
probably framed at one time.
yeah, and right above the windows, that's why we want to do the cedar, because that metal frame is like coming off the building.
So you would, so everywhere where there's that metal panel, that's what would be the cedar?
Yes.
Right.
2x,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm following.
Yeah.
Like where it's corrugated?
Yeah. It'd be underneath, it'd be basically be behind that awning.
Well, right above the windows is gonna be like that 2x12 cedar, but where that window used to be, we want to replace that window back with like the black windows that we have already.
I'm pointing right now. I
Like
think he's
under- like-
thinking this, right there, what's gonna happen with that? See how it's corrugated right there? You're talking about putting the cedar here.
Yes, and above is gonna be a window.
yeah.
But what goes up there?
A window,
Or that corrugated, looks like some kind of corrugated metal or something.
Y'all gonna put in a window right there?
yes.
Right.
That'd be awesome, that's great.
Up top.
Yeah.
Yes.
So where's the awning gonna go?
Will the awning go over the,
It'll go above, right above over where the brick is ledge, right
Yeah.
on top. It's mounted on there and
So
it's,
you're not gonna use that awning at all? You're gonna?
no, it's gonna be a new awning.
Okay, is it gonna be just a
It's that metal.
lean-to?
It's,
Where's
it's
that?
a metal,
It's the
it's a
metal
metal,
one
it's gonna be
that's on
metal.
Oh, right here. But it's still not flat, so it's going up here. So you really won't even see that unless you're up underneath the awning to see what you're gonna put right there. Or I guess the window, they are gonna put a window back in there. The
Yeah.
transom's back here. Which, I like that. What about doing just like the traditional, awnings that they did that were like lean-to, just flat? And it had the cables going up. I think that would be more in tune what's in that area right there, because you're really not even gonna see,
Okay, I mean,
if you build it like this, unless you get up underneath it, you're not even gonna see those windows.
we have no problem with that. I mean,
or maybe, maybe not even, just maybe not as steep of a slope. I mean, it could still
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
pitch to it, but maybe it's, you know, if that's a 12 and 12,
How
maybe a
far
3 and
were you,
12.
were you gonna come out with that awning, the new awning?
it seems like that one's coming out,
That looks about like 4 foot.
like 4 foot coming out. Mhm.
Okay, because the other ones, the old style, they brought them out 6, 7, 8 feet.
Yeah, I was,
Okay.
I mean,
I could see that, so then you could see the transom, the windows up there.
Is mounted to the top of the windows, like not where it's mounted now, it's
Yeah.
mounted lower,
Yeah. Well, then it won't come down that far.
and it won't come down that far.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
see the
why you
window.
want to put
Yeah.
that cedar up there. I see. I like that. That's more in tune to what's
Yeah.
Right.
going on downtown. The only issue I have is the cedar. I mean, that's really not historically correct for this area. I mean, I know that's the trend now. Everybody's doing that farmhouse look with the cedar and all that, but I have an issue with that. I don't know what the rest of the board has. I mean, it just doesn't fit for downtown. That's just not the look.
Well, where do you recommend, because that metal looks real ugly under, I mean, it's coming off the building, it doesn't look.
Well, so what they did, they wrapped all these in metal here?
That's a metal, yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, and then the new windows, you're gonna bring them all the way back down?
Yeah.
Well, that's probably a lintel, that's some sort of a lintel, I think.
Oh, yeah, there's a beam up there.
Yeah.
They always have a.
Yeah, it's-
I don't know if it's
a beam, it's a.
concrete,
Yeah, some of them had concrete, some of them had regular I-beam.
You could mosaic tile even, no?
Okay.
We can do some kind
I
of
mean,
rock
I don't know if I
something.
can say this or not, but you're doing the other building too, correct?
As well.
There's 2 of them.
Yes, sir.
The one next to it.
Yes, sir.
Because I noticed that one has the wainscot on it. I mean, what would you think about adding that wainscot back on this one? That was original to the property.
I have no problem with
when it
that,
was
sir.
built. I kinda like, I think it looks better. I think it fits the style of that building better. And then if they own both buildings. They're gonna do them both. That we're gonna get the next case. And so I would like to see all that come across. That way it's all cohesive. It all looks the
It's all
same.
uniform. Mhm.
You know, that's just the way they were built back then. They didn't run the windows down like that. Somebody did that in the 80s or something. But I mean, that's just my thought. I'm opening it up to whatever the board thinks.
Donna, did you have a question?
Well, I'm not really, I think I'm hearing my questions answered.
Okay.
I was thinking back to a class I took on urban building from the Texas Historic Commission, and these are kind of cookie cutter type designs that are along that street, and they fit a certain pattern. And I think what David is saying about that lower part coming back sort of establishes it as a more historic look that was just sort of the way things were back then. But were you planning on taking these windows out and replacing them in this door?
You were?
Yes. Like, now that he brought up that windshield coming, that would be the way to go with that. And then mount the glass on top of that windshield, you know, I mean, make it,
Well, it would be a really nice look, I agree.
yes, ma'am.
And I think it's more historic. It
Yeah,
fits
you
the
got
building,
the-
and the building has some beautiful brickwork at the top.
Exactly.
So by doing that lower part, you're sort of saying, okay, this is all a historic look.
Bringing it
Goes
back, yes,
together.
ma'am.
And since you're painting it anyways, you don't really have to match the brick or anything like that, so it shouldn't be an issue. I
Right.
think for wear and durability, I think you're gonna be happier if you did have something down there like that.
Yes, sir.
You know, just for pedestrians throwing stuff in. We did the other buildings on the other side. And
Yeah.
I brought them all back up. We put the wainscot back, kind of what they were originally. Because that door, that thing probably had a door that was inset right there. You know,
That would've
that's just
been
where they did
typical.
them.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's fine with that. So you're gonna go ahead and back with the metal framing, just a regular storefront?
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes, sir.
The bronze or black?
Yes.
I mean, I guess we could, I mean, do you have a problem if we recommend that, putting the wainscot back in?
Not at all.
And then just, I
We-
mean, my deal is that, and then just, I'm just not for that cedar up top. I just don't
Okay.
think that fits the style of that, of the
Well, if
building.
you're
What do you
putting
think,
brick at the
Ron?
bottom, you
That-
could put brick up there.
I think you could do like painted hardy board or something that long-term maintenance wouldn't be a big issue. Cedar does fine for a while, but it's still,
Well, I think they were gonna stain it, correct? You were gonna do it,
Yes, sir.
it's kinda like that farmhouse look everybody's
Yeah.
doing, where they just put it on, they put a natural sealer on it.
Right.
Kinda like in the picture.
yeah.
Yeah.
This
I
one's
mean, I think it
shown
looks
without
good, I
much
like it,
stain.
but I just don't think it's
That's fine,
compatible with what we're doing downtown.
I can do like a fake,
Yeah, I mean, you
Stamp.
could put hardy trim on it or
I
something.
do a stamp, like a rock stamp effect look on there too, you know, on the top.
Or just like just some hardy board and then paint it the same as the green and it'll just kind of,
Yeah, just-
I think that'd be,
Yeah,
look
just a
fine.
wood grain
yeah,
look,
yeah.
be fine.
so,
So what's getting painted green?
all the brick, all the
Oh,
front.
the whole thing's.
Yeah, the whole
oh, wow.
front.
Okay.
And what color's the awning gonna be? What, the metal on it?
The black.
Black?
It's gonna be really dark. Isn't it? It's gonna be really dark.
That dark green?
Dark green, black.
Yeah, these are the colors, we got color recommendations from y'all, and this is one of them that was in there.
What does the sign say?
I don't know, that's just a picture of a sign. I don't know what that is, but that's just like what the sign, what type of sign we want, but I don't know what that business is.
I like those signs that hang like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very pretty.
Cool.
Oh, okay, okay, I have another issue, or a question about the lighting on top, you know, that 3 lights up there. I don't know, it just doesn't, and then, so then you're gonna have lights on either side of the door,
Yeah.
and then the lights up above,
That was kind of to enhance the building, you know, kind of give it the,
yeah.
It's for aesthetics. We went to like a downtown historic district in the Dallas area, and they had lights like these and looked really pretty at night, shining down on the awning.
The awning. That's-
That's,
What are
that's
your
what
thoughts of that?
will be illuminated is the
Yeah.
awning.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? You need to come up and,
What is the building going to be used for?
We're just gonna get ready to take it.
yeah, you
we'll
need to speak
get,
into the
we'll get it
mic.
ready just to rent, I mean, to whoever needs to.
Sally Martine asking what the building's going to be used for.
Well, at this, for commercial rental, I mean.
Yeah, you gotta speak into the mic.
Commercial rentals.
Yes,
Okay.
uh-huh.
Y'all are fixing it up to rent?
Yes,
now?
yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else have anything to say about this project?
I tend to agree with you,
State your name, sir.
Zane White. I didn't come here for this, but since we've got an awning situation in a historic overlay zone, how old is that building? Do we know? When it was 1910?
It was built in 1910.
Okay. How long have those awnings been
Public
up?
comment is for Mr. White to provide comment to the board so they can make their decision. It's not to answer a bunch of questions. He can ask staff those questions after the meeting.
Say that again, please.
You may make comments to the board regarding the awnings, but it's not a time to question staff or the board. You can ask those questions after the meeting.
So I can make statements, but not in the form of questions?
That's correct.
Okay, okay. Because of the recent situation at the Cactus Hotel, where it was proven to you guys in writing and to planning and to legal that metal awnings are not appropriate for a building that old in the historic overlay district based upon the Secretary of Interior standards, not guidelines, standards that were voted on in 2022 and approved by the City Council. In a historic overlays district, you have to go back with the original cloth or fabric awnings, not the metal. You guys know that. I've given it to you in writing. I've emailed each of you that extensively. It's on the DHRC website, which is a division of the Planning Department website. It's right there. There's no argument. It's a fact. You know it. Planning knows it. Legal knows it. If those were originally fabric awnings in a historic overlay zone, metal awnings are not historically appropriate. Period. They're not. That was one of the issues that I had regarding this Cactus Hotel situation. Like you've said earlier in the meeting about some other things. You let one do it, everybody else is going to do it. Hypothetically, everything down on Block 1 Concho Avenue could be metal buildings tomorrow, metal awnings. Now, how would that look? How impressive would that be? And that's not a question, that's a statement. You're paying so much attention to these other details, this awning detail that blew up for over a year, almost 2 years, blew up on you guys because you were given false information by planning, intentionally proven false information.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up.
About the interior guidelines. That was it.
Thank you.
So let's get to work back on making a decision about metal awnings again downtown, which are not allowed.
Thank you for your comment.
Period.
Bring that other picture back up, the original. That's a metal awning. That is a metal awning. And that's what was on that building when it was built. So we'll move on.
How does he document that?
Because I can tell. Because I have a lot, yes, I have a lot of experience with those. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. We'll move on. We close public comment. Open it up to the board.
I just only worry that it's so dark. I guess we can't say much about it, but, you
I
know.
tend to agree with you. I would maybe discuss a little bit more in depth the color of the building overall. Something that would be more similar, more liking to the other buildings. Just my thought on it. If there were some other recommendations or ideas.
You can always.
I mean,
Put that in.
raw is black, and then going down, there's a very dark blue one, which is one of yours. I mean,
building.
I think the precedent
Oh,
is
yeah,
there
the
for,
building,
for dark.
Exactly, the building's
I-
black.
You know, could it be lighter? Sure, but I don't know. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Somebody want to make a motion? Is there any other discussion on the colors? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
It's presented by staff with the changes of the wainscot
Recommendation for a wainscot
Yeah.
at the bottom, yep.
and, let's see, what else was there? And then just putting the hardy siding, the hardy plank over the metal.
Hardy plank over the metal.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion passes. Okay, we'll move on to the next project. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 228. Okay, that's CA 24-08, 228 North Chaburn, a request for a certificate of appropriateness for a front facade renovation, including removal of metal pole, replace all wood in front and door with black tinted glass windows, paint front facade, new exterior lighting, new signage, planters, and new awning.
Good morning, Ray Lineberry, planner, and this is the building right next door. It is the same owners. And as you can see, it is also painted. They plan on painting it the same color green. And I have updated. So they've updated the color to the same rockwood shutter green. They have, they're removing the metal pole and replacing it with the same rough red cedar wood. They're doing the black tinted windows also. They have changed the awning. Instead of having the flat awning that you see in this picture, that was included in your packet, instead of that one, they're going to make it the same awning as the side, the one we just discussed. And then with the lamps up top and the numbers on the side, just like the other one, and the same sign look. The sheet that I passed out has the size of the planters if you need to see that, and there's the same green. And I did a close-up of the brick so you could see that it was painted. And so staff is recommending approval with an encroachment agreement for anything in the right-of-way. The staff did want to make it a condition to remove that metal pole. We really do prefer that gone. I have the original picture. I don't have it on my slide, I'm sorry, but I printed out the original front, and it did not have that pole. You'll have to look, but the metal pole be removed, and then the colors, dimensions, and materials that you guys approved today is used, and that they do get any building permits required.
Well, what was the metal pole for?
I have no idea.
Just had a sign on it or something.
No idea. I'm guessing a sign, maybe? But they do plan on taking out all the wood right here and putting in the windows.
So it'll pretty much match the other building.
Yes.
Okay, I like that. Let's see, there was a question I had on the awning. They were gonna put, or maybe they changed, they were gonna put plexiglass or something in it?
Correct, it's been changed. They're gonna
Okay,
match
okay,
the awning on
okay.
the side now.
Okay, good. Any other questions for staff? Nope. Okay, thank you. We'll open it up for public comment. Anybody like to speak on this project?
instead of that cedar, we'll do the same thing for the other building. Just put that hardboard and paint it. Oh, instead of the cedar, we'll put the same thing that y'all recommended, that board, and then paint it instead of the cedar.
Okay, so what are these light on the side right here? It says exterior lighting, what, on either side of the door?
Yeah, they're just sconces, but if they're too modern,
Okay,
we
are they
can
like-
change them.
Small, tall? I can't really tell what.
They come in different sizes, so
Oh,
it just
okay.
depends.
I couldn't figure out what that was.
Yeah, they can be short, or they can be like up to 3 feet tall.
I would love to see something that's more traditional in feeling.
You want, like the lanterns on the previous building, just do the same ones?
If you have the space, I wasn't sure whether you'd selected this because it was just a very narrow
Yeah,
space needed.
okay,
But if there's a way to do the lanterns, I think that would be preferable.
okay.
Yes.
Do you see these spaces ever working together by one person leasing both and connecting them up inside?
No, they'd be separate. I mean, maybe someone else will rent one and then some random person will rent the other one, but we want to keep them as consistent as possible with, and, I mean, to y'all requirements, you know, so. Historical as well.
Well, just thinking about going down the street and seeing kind of a dark red brick and then green and green, starting to feel like Christmas right there. So,
Oh, that won't be the red brick now, because next door is her property, and so it's gonna be that sand-colored brick, because it's that taking off the red brick that's shown in that image is actually the cement board that she's gonna be taking off, so. Yeah, that's the,
Yeah, that's the one next to it. I mean, I kind of agree. I mean, I don't know if we can delegate this, but it seems like if you wanted to rent it, I would think whoever would want it would be a little more unique if each building was separate, you know, because then it looks like it's the same business in
Right.
both buildings.
Yeah.
That's just my thinking. That's
Yeah.
where I'm kind of with Donna. I think if it was a different color, then it would stand out on its own.
We
You know,
we have
because
no
they
problem-
are two different buildings.
We have no
The
problem
facades
with
are
changing the
different.
color on it. I mean, it's,
You know, I think as far as renting it, I think it'd be easier to rent it that way. That way whoever rents it will feel like they have a unique
Yeah.
building that's separate from the other one.
Yeah, I agree, yeah, so we can come back. Do we need to come back with another color, or just give it to these?
Yeah.
Since it's
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's an approved color
Yeah.
off our color chart, I think staff could,
Okay,
unless if that's good for the board.
I agree, and
I
I
would
think it's
feel-
a good idea to separate that.
I think you would have better luck renting them that way.
I agree.
And it would just make the neighborhood,
It'll be visually more interesting
yeah.
to drive down the street. Yeah.
And you still have your sister buildings, because you've got the awnings that match and the lighting fixtures that match.
Exactly.
Signage matches, but.
Yeah, I
they're
agree
different.
on that for the business part of it.
Okay.
It looks like it still has the original kind of rosettes where the metal awning was attached. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, up on top.
Yeah, I mean, there've been pictures of Old San Angelo where it was just one flat metal,
Well, that's where they were back then. They were metal.
yeah,
they were.
yeah.
Any other questions for staff? I'm sorry, the applicants?
Not knowing a lot about these buildings, do they have bathrooms and like food service capabilities, those type of things? Or what type of tenant would you be wanting to rent out to? If you've thought about that, I don't know.
It could be from a hair stylist, maybe, maybe offices for
Yeah.
different sorts in there. I don't know. I mean,
Boutiques, I don't think we want to do restaurant. I don't know.
They're expensive.
I don't know
You'll do
about
good on those because they are separate like that and they're easier to rent when you've got them small. Was it
Maybe a
like
hole,
2,000 square feet
Those
roughly?
things that they call a hole in the wall, maybe, type of
Yeah.
cafe, I don't know, I mean,
Yeah, no, you'll do good on those.
Yeah.
I wish I owned them.
Yeah.
hole in the wall type,
I don't know what the regulations are on
that,
restaurants.
yeah.
Are you gonna remove that pole or try to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
I
great.
think they had a sign on it.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause there was actually one of those down on the other end of Chadburn, just like I took it out. They had it was weird like that.
And I guess put in a glass door like the other one too. That's gonna be glass.
Yeah, and we wanted.
No, I think they ought to keep that 6 panel. That's a good look right there.
Y'all wanted the double doors there, like the original for the glass?
That's what it had on it originally, but
Okay, that's fine.
For
Double
commercial
doors,
use
double
too,
doors are
yeah.
tricky. I would
I would-
hesitate against, just because it's harder to lock, it's harder for security, I think.
yeah, I'd do
A
a
single door
single.
meets
Okay, with single,
code.
okay.
Single's
would.
fine? Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Get it as big as you can, just being a business, commercial
Yeah,
business
well, they have to
owner,
be
it's
3.0.
so hard
They
to
gotta
get
be
stuff in and out.
36. so.
Yeah.
But
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
It's gonna look good.
Anybody else like to speak on this project?
Zane White. David, I'm not sure it's appropriate for you to assert definitively that you can look at that metal awning and claim that the original in 1910 was metal. I feel like there ought to be some documentation for that. Otherwise, we don't need any documentation on any of the original stuff in the overlay zone because we can just say, ask David, he'll know by looking at it, whether it's original or not. I think you know that's wrong. I think everybody in here knows that's wrong. You also made a statement just a second ago about they were all metal back then. I'd like to know what that's based on. When I step away from this podium, I believe if you have any integrity, you'll answer both of those issues, not questions. This metal awning business is a big deal. I guess everybody thinks that the deal with the cactus is just gonna go away. You know, it's Lee Pfluger. He's gonna get away with it. Every time he comes in here and wants something from you guys, it's rubber stamped by Teresa, the city attorney. The planning department presents it to you guys illegally and corruptly to make you really on paper not have any choice but to say, hey, planning said it was cool. When I've proven to you in writing and on video transcripts that it's not. Now, either there's a reading comprehension issue here going on or there's some corruption going on. Everybody in San Angelo, West Texas knows that. It's been going on a long time. This favoritism for Lee Pfluger, he gets whatever he wants. But this business about you saying, oh yeah, I can tell by looking at that it's original. Do you do that to everything else? That's not a question. I think it would be highly improper if you did that to any other project. Said, yeah, we don't need to prove it with documentation. I mean, if there are original documents that exist on what that awning was, then we need to do it. I don't know how you can say that there were you can assert that there was an awning there with that picture. How do you determine that there ever was an awning? And yet they're putting in a metal awning there. Can you turn around and look at that picture and tell me how?
I'm not gonna get in an argument match. I've done 30 buildings downtown. I've got pretty good knowledge of what went on those
In
buildings.
1910.
No, sir.
Right.
Now, but I know what's there. Thank you, sir.
This
We
isn't
don't need to
about-
get into.
this is about
a match.
1910.
Thank you, sir.
And you
Appreciate
claiming
it.
something.
Thank you.
In 1910. I'm just asking you to prove it. Do your
Thank you.
job.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on. Anybody else? We'll close public comment. Bring it up to the board.
I'll move to approve.
As presented for staff.
Comments closing public comments on this project?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Move to approve based on board recommendations.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve? Second. Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Okay, we will move on to, what do we have, another case, let's see. CA 24-09, 136 East Concho Avenue, request for a certificate of appropriateness for a new playground to include new equipment and a shade structure on an unused portion of the lot to the back and west of their property at 136 East Concho.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sherry Bailey, Principal Planner. This application is a slightly different application in that it is just outside of the historic district. It is in the downtown district. It is District 3, Harry Thomas's district, downtown neighborhood, and central business district for the zoning. And the picture that we have up there is the area right back here where you can see that building that's going to be removed is where they intend on putting the playground area that they're asking for funding from Tiers and are presenting before you. But keep in mind that this is the downtown district, not the historic district. On the left, you will see the structure that's going to be removed. On the right is the playground area. There is a shielding area that's going to go around that playground. It's about 5 foot, 6 foot high, that will protect and give some privacy to the autistic children that are in there. This is how it looks as you're driving along the street. It's set back. It's that playground area, or the playground area itself is back quite a ways. There's a parking area that's in front. There's also landscaping that has been done on that building, and a number of items. So it has really a cohesive look to it, and the playground just kind of fits in the very back. This is what they intend on putting up. It's very similar to other playground areas that have been done in that general area. And then there is a shade structure that will have a blue top on it that will be going in there. The color that they're proposing is that kind of black and blue, darker look, so that it kind of blends in underneath the tree and with the general area, the colors that have been used down in the area. And staff is recommending approval with 2 conditions: that the colors, dimensions, and materials of all improvements shall be consistent with the renderings that they provided, and that the applicant shall obtain and require the building permits or all permits that are necessary. And with that, are there any questions that you might have?
Can you go back to let's go back to there, okay. So it's stuck back behind the building, kind
It
of
is.
in the parking lot?
It's stuck, yes, it's stuck back on the back of that lot. They wanted that for both safety and protection, shielding it.
Is it situated right on the property line with the next property to the right? Or-
No, there is a little bit of distance to that. They are required to provide that, yes.
Yeah, because it looks like the next building is way to the right. Is that, I guess all that's parking back there?
There is some parking back there. There is some landscaping also. Let me see if you can see that kind of from this is the overhead shot. The property line is actually right about 5 to 7 feet in there. And then there is both a building on this side and then the large building that is here with their parking there, but there is that parking space that belongs to this building that's right there.
Yeah, I drove by to look at it, and it looks like it's a driveway on the building to the left of where the playground would be. And in your aerial shot, you're showing cars parked into that building. And of course, the white rectangle is covered parking for the autism center, it looks like.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, thank you. We will open it up for public comment. If anybody has anything to say about this project? Nope. Okay, we will close that and open up to the board. Anybody have any issues? Anybody
No.
want to make a motion?
I would make a motion to accept as presented.
Okay, can we get a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Aye, motion passes. Okay, that concludes our regular agenda. We will have public comment. Issues or concerns not on the regular agenda may be raised by the public at this time. Citizens should speak from the podium, address all comments to the dais, and begin by stating their name and address or single-member district. Please limit all remarks to less than 3 minutes.
Zane White. Again, this business of the planning department corruptly giving you guys information for years started, I've just been back here 3 years, but John James, up until October 31st of last year, was the mastermind of all that BS. Now that he's gone, Aaron Van Noy, I hope he turns things around and doesn't follow that same path. John James, the husband of Teresa James, obviously he's gone now, and a lot of people know why. And a lot of the issues that I'm talking about are why. Special favors for special people, privileged people, special things getting done corruptly. Teresa James, rubber stamping everything that John James in planning did corruptly. She's still all about that. The Cactus metal awnings BS approved that, and it's all documented. How you guys can sit there and not realize that everything is in black and white, it's on video from now on. It's on the internet. It'll be here forever. And eventually, the right people of authority are going to get a hold of that information. And all of you people that have gone along with that are going to be called on the carpet. Your integrity is going to be put on the line. You still have a chance, you people that are in here now, to turn it around by going back and doing a review of that Cactus Hotel metal awnings situation where you were lied to your faces. You, David, ask a specific question. Well, now, would that be historically appropriate? You were told to your face, oh yeah, it would be. I've given you all of that transcript in writing. That was false. That was a lie. And yet, and of course you went along with it then, you get a pass on going along with it then. You don't get a pass on going along with it now because I've proven to you that it was a lie. And yet, you guys are still cool with it, apparently. It's not going to fly. Okay? It's just not. And you guys are here for the benefit of the city of San Angelo, especially on the historic stuff. I mean, that's so important. And you need to take your jobs more seriously. This business of not being up to speed on what the regulations are, what the rules are, what the codes are, what the standards are, which most of you aren't. Then it comes down to, hey, planning, is that cool? Oh yeah, If they want it to go through, the answer is, oh, yeah. If they don't want it to go through, the answer is, nope. And you guys are like, okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
And I'll be looking for that information.
Thank you. Anybody else, public comment? Okay, we will close that. Is there a division report?
I don't believe so at this time.
Okay. Announcements, the next regular meeting of the Design and Historic Review Commission is scheduled to begin on Thursday, June 20th, 2024 at 10 a.m. in the East Mezzanine Meeting Room in City Hall at 72 West College Avenue. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.